Good Sunday, everybody. Let me make sure, first of all, we are live for real. For reals, as they say. I don't know who says, but I guess somebody says that. For reals. Because today we're going to be dealing with. Sure. 1 second. Well, yeah, I lied already. It's already past the second. So just give me 1 second here. I'm going to make sure 100% because previously I'm gonna just assume we're live. Anyways, so I just came with this the story about the first of all, Rorate Celli just actually was promoting. It's a traditional Catholic website. Just recently was promoting us to purchase the yearly um, calendar, liturgical calendar of the Sons of the Most Holy Redeemer. These, or the old name of them was the Transalpine Redemptoris. So it's in order following the teachings of Saint Alphonsus Liguori, and that order was originally not in a regular canonical position with the Catholic Church because they were basically were associated with the Archbishop Lefebvre and the Society of St. Pius X. And then they reached with under the real Pope Benedict XVI, they reached a regularization. They were given canonical regular orders, and they have there's actually several videos on YouTube. You can go search them from before they were regularized to after they were regularized. Um, they have this monastery originally in, I don't know how he says it, Papa Stronce or Pepe Stronce. It's an up north in the Scottish Islands, up there in the cold and wind and cold. And in one of the old videos on YouTube, it's just um, the reporter just had to go up there, taking a little boat to get up there, and uh, you see how tough these guys are, tough monks. And when they were regularized, as I believe, I don't know what the case is now, but one or two of the monks said, "No, no, no, I'm going to stay with the Society of St. Pius X." So they didn't kick them off the island. They just kind of made their own little hut or something. I'm not sure if they're still there. They're not. Anyways, but now the monks are in three countries. First of all, Scotland, in New Zealand, and recently in the United States. Anyways, so Rorati was promoting their yearly calendar. To purchase it, click here to order your calendar. And of course, we should do that just basically to give them money to support them. And apparently, it's a very nice calendar. I have never purchased one, but I've always seen it advertised, promoted on Rorati. So, what's the story? Um, well, um, just kind of a quickie here of what their island looks like before we go to the story, because they have been they have been marked for destruction by Catholics who basically don't like the hard sayings of Jesus Christ, the hard sayings of the Catholic Church, the discipline of the real Catholic Church. They are been, so they are. Anyways, we're going to get into it in a second, but just want to show you their official website on Papa Stronce. So if you can go to so it's papastronce.com, you can go to it, read about it. This is the island, this is their monastery. And actually they basically it was originally founded, it's by Saint Columba in 521 originally. And of course so and this is the bishop of Aberdeen, I believe, with the monks, and this is their monastery, and each one has a cell. So, anyways, it's and the history and the vocations and so forth. So, of course, they're a traditional Roman Rite order, and the original Transalpine Redemptorists actually were celebrating the traditional Chaldean rite and the traditional. So they were doing other Eastern rites which were modified again. I'm not sure. I don't think they do that anymore. So, but they have been regularized by Rome. They're expanded. They went into the U.S. in 2021. So But um, of course, we cannot keep something which is good flourishing. As what is publicly recognized as Pope Francis, in from as soon as he became uh, the Bishop of Rome, the bishop dressed in white, living at Santa Marta, the hotel in Vatican City, if in case you're wanting to pass by and have it say hi. In 2013, from 2013 2014, the destruction of the Franciscan Friars of the Immaculate started. A very flourishing, Vatican promoted, Benedict XVI approved order. Yeah, let's destroy them. Why? Oh, penance, prayer, Mary, too Catholic. Oh, the order is actually, even though they celebrate the rite of Paul VI and the real Roman rite, they were moving towards tradition more and more. No, 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 we got to shut them down and destroy them. And basically, that's what happened to the Franciscan Friars of the Immaculate. Now they are a remnant of what they used to be. So now, of course, it happened to other bishops, other orders. Nuns or traditional Catholic nuns have been visitations, apostolic visitations to see how bad they are. Oh, they're cloistered, they're praying, they're Carmelites. Oh, this doesn't go with the spirit of the council and the new liturgical novelties. So we cannot have people who are too Catholic. So here's actually I'm going to put my little headphones here so I can hear what they say. Actually, it is true, Mr. David Wilson. They are part of the Orkney Islands in North Scotland. Um, yeah, they're up north there. And as I said, you can watch several videos of them. And David says as well, the future tradition of Catholicism is to form informal orders and societies and wait for the storm to pass. If that's the only solution, like what happened with the Benedictines founded by Dom Alcuin Reid, who was a big collaborator, is a big liturgist in southern France and Provence, where they are restoring a monastery. It's called the Monastère Saint Benoit, the monastery of Saint Benedict, and they were supposed to get ordained and everything, and then the Vatican halted all ordinations of all priests in that diocese because the bishop was too Catholic. And now apparently they assigned a coadjutor bishop for him. So they banned him from ordaining anybody, traditional, charismatic, whatever, banned all ordinations. So Dom Alcuin Greed went and said, you know what? He has somebody in the Vatican. We don't know who it is. Cardinal Mueller, Vigano, who he was ordained a priest because he was just a brother. And the monastery has a second priest has been ordained as well. So because the bishop was handcuffed from ordaining them, banned by the Vatican. So so that's the situation of them, and of course I support them 100%. Anyways, so here's the story of the attack on Vatican orders. The Vatican orders investigation into Christchurch Catholic group over allegations of abuse, unauthorized exorcism. Abuse. Now that gives you the idea, because we've been brainwashed into believing it, that abuse involving Catholic priests has only one and only one meaning. And you know what I mean. But of course, it has nothing to do about that. The abuse they're talking about in other articles and so forth is basically being preaching about judgment, about hell, about need for penance and repentance, and you know all things which are Catholic. That's the abuse. People get traumatized by being told, watch out for the devil, don't commit sin. Uh, they get traumatized through, and then the other big thing was exorcisms. they say, oh, they performed unauthorized exorcisms. But you'll see Father Michael Mary, he says no, there are exorcisms which are require the bishop's permission, like a major exorcism, exorcising a person. And they have never defied the bishop. They actually got permission for 2 exorcisms from the bishop. And the other ones are called minor exorcisms, exorcism of places, objects, so forth, which they do. So it's not required to have a bishop's permission for that. So, anyways, let's go through the article here for a second, and then the little video audio clip. Actually, I'm going to play you the audio clip, and then hopefully you hear it. Here we go.
The Vatican has ordered investigation into a little-known Catholic group in Christchurch following allegations of spiritual and psychological abuse and unauthorised exorcisms.
An emeritus bishop from Australia has been sent to New Zealand to interview complainants as a representative of the Pope.
The move follows a months-long investigation by Newshub into concerns about leaders of the group, known as the Sons of the Most Holy Redeemer. Investigations correspondent Michael Morrow reports.
So here we go. So we can see it is basically a hijab. They do the investigation. They go find the people to do the investigation. So the end point of the story, end point of the game, is the disbanding of the Redemptorists. Actually, it tells you at the end of the story, it's like, we want them basically broken up, destroyed. Spiritual abuse. Okay, well, nobody's forcing you to stay there. Yeah. As Michael Mary, he says in his defense, which we're going to get to, he says, nobody's forcing you. We're in communion with all Catholic bishops, with the Catholic bishops and all Catholics within New Zealand. There are other Latin Mass communities in New Zealand. You could go there. We're in full communion with them. Nobody's telling you not to go. Anyways, so let's finish here the video. It's a short one.
A review ordered by the highest echelons of the Catholic Church.
It's always an emergency.
It is not ordered by the highest echelon. It is agitators and the news media who pushed the local bishop and forced him basically to ask Rome. Basically, the bishop doesn't want to do anything about it because he knows the real situation. So I'm getting pushed by the media, so I'm going to get the Pope. Of course, he will jump at the chance to destroy another traditional order to do the dirty work. So let's go back to the video.
Vatican would never do this in the normal run of events. So it will send in this figure called an apostolic visitor.
That visitor.
Ooh, the apostolic visitor. That is code word. And we haven't had any apostolic visitors to heretical orders, to heretical nuns, to feminist pro-abortion nuns. No. We haven't had visitations to priests and the Jesuits who promote, same-sex unions and blessings. We haven't had visitations to heretical German bishops who are blessing, perversion in their churches. No, that's all good. This is synodality. This is acceptance, because the church is for all, as Francis would like to say. All, except, of course, if you're a real Catholic. That would not do.
And representative of Pope Francis is Emeritus Bishop and canon law expert Robert McGuckin from
Canon law expert Robert McGuckin
from Australia. He's arrived here to interview those who left the Sons of the Most Holy Redeemer with...
They left the Sons of the Most Holy Redeemer. Why? Were they part of the religious order? No. They were some people who go to the mass at their church. It's like I would go to whatever church to, whether a Byzantine rite or a traditional Roman rite. Yeah, I'm not part of that organization.
Serious concerns.
The Vatican has treated it seriously. It has grabbed one of its most senior retired bishops from Australasia and called him in. This is very significant.
The Sons, also known as the Transalpine Redemptorists, is run by Fathers Michael and Anthony Mary. But an investigation on News Hub's Paddy Gower Has Issues revealed concerns about their teachings.
Concerns about their teaching, which are the teaching of the Catholic Church. These are the concerns of the video, which Paddy Gower, which is, here it is. I'm going to show it to you, which we're going to go very briefly all over. But this is the video they're talking about, the investigation, because, let's destroy everything. All right.
Interference in family life and unauthorized exorcisms. The leaders deny any wrongdoing.
As I speak, an investigative reporter from TV3 waits to do a story on us.
But now the leaders face international scrutiny in a move initiated by the local Bishop of Christchurch, Michael Geelan.
Well, it was initiated by the bishop because he was put under pressure by the reporter and his co-conspirators. It was not initiated by the bishop by himself because he thought something was wrong. So I just play that part because
by the local Bishop of Christchurch, Michael Geelan. Christchurch Bishop Michael Geelan declined a request for an interview, but News Hub understands he visited Rome in August, where he notified officials of his concerns and asked for help. In a statement, he says the Holy See, in other words, the Pope, has appointed McGuckin to investigate.
Things have been allowed to get out of control, and for whatever reason, it looks as though the bishop has felt it necessary to call in the heavy guns, to call in backup.
Got out of control. What do you mean by out of control? The exorcisms were requested by the bishop and granted to the sons to do them, the two. And this one, I guess one of them was a multiple exorcism, but for the same person. So what out of control? What out of control? Talking about the Catholic faith. Their website is on YouTube. You can watch all their sermons. They're actually sometimes boring ones. It's like, well, okay, well, what is the concerns? The concerns is that the Catholic faith is a true faith. The concerns are that avoid sin or you might go to hell. These concerns about actually one of the former brothers who left the order, who is one of the main concerned people in the investigation. He's basically, his main complaint is like, I had to obey Father Michael Mary, and if I didn't obey him, I was assigned a penance. Oh, yeah, and that's a religious order. It's not an association. And as Michael Mary says in his sermon, he says, yeah, it's part of obedience. You're part of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And if you can't learn to obey, well, then leave. Leave. But of course, that's spiritual abuse. And I was humiliated. All right, let's get back to it.
Fireman and former Sons congregation member,
Oh, that's the guy.
Greg Price, says it's a great relief. He and many others say their complaints to former church leaders were ignored.
Nothing has been happening and we haven't been heard, which we now feel like we are being heard and the matters are being taken seriously. So, yeah, I think there will be a sense of relief.
He believes the Sons should be disbanded.
Here you go. That is the whole point. He believes the Sons should be disbanded, not disciplined. What are you doing wrong? Maybe you shouldn't do that. Okay, you're a religious order. You're a conservative, traditionalist order. You're talking about the teachings of Saint Alphonsus Liguori. They're very strong teachings. Maybe it's good maybe for as a religious order, like if you're with your monks, maybe tone it down a bit. Still say the truth, but tone it down for the laity who are not monks. I can understand that. Maybe for the monks, you need strong discipline. For the laity, maybe tone it down. Keep telling the truth, but tone it down. That's fine. That's something to say to as a correction to the monks. If I don't know what exactly, but it doesn't seem like anything bad they did. Maybe some of them dwelt a bit too much on, well, is there such a thing as too much? Go and sin no more. It's better for you to pluck out your eye instead of your whole body going into hell, like Jesus would say. That would be cause for investigation and concerns. Anyways, let's finish up with a little video here.
I just pray that the truth will come to light and right decisions will be made.
It's not known when any decision will be made. Such investigations are usually shrouded in secrecy and take months to complete. Michael Morrow, News Hub.
There we go. It takes months to complete.
The Vatican.
Okay, then we're done with you people. So it takes a few months and it's done in secrecy. So you can say whatever you want to say and just ban them, disband them, destroy them, and say, well, it was for the good of the church. They were very rigid. They were Neo-Pelagian, rigorous, did not smell the sheep, but the sheep somehow want to keep on going to them. The sheep somehow keep on asking for them to come to their diocese, but the sheep are idiots. So anyways, so of course, as I said, the Father Michael Mary, and this is their blog site. And in the site, they have a statement concerning certain allegations. So, and of course, they're promoting the calendar before this whole problem came out. So you can go over their site, and this is their island. So up there in Orkneys. So we're actually going to go to the actual bigger view, so it's easier to see that instead. Let's see here. Yeah. So let's play a bit of that.
I raise a serious concern about the vice of calumny and the spirit of destruction that is targeting the chaplaincy and our religious community. For at least 6 years now, there's been a rising canker of destructive criticism, detraction, and calumny born out of malice and ignorance, which echoes even as far as Hamilton and Auckland. As I speak, an investigative reporter from TV3 waits to do a story on us.
And yes, indeed, they actually did do the story on them. And in the video, which is next, to be fair, the actual reporter does actually give a very brief nod to the response of Father Michael Mary. But that says, oh, that's what he says, but I've got the poor little guy.
The journalist approached us recently with a number of speculative questions of a sexual nature concerning a priest who lived in our midst for 26 months between April 2015 and July 2017, leaving Christchurch almost exactly 6 years ago. Although the journalist is not entitled to the information he was seeking, we were prepared to contemplate that, depending on the source of the journalist's suggestions, there might be a need for some public clarification. I informed him that if that were so, we should work together to combine frankness and prudence with accuracy, since anything that is said in the public domain remains there and should do so without adding even yet more confusion.
Anyways, I will not play you the full video. You can watch it. It's about 40 minutes. I actually did watch the whole thing. I did watch his whole, and he was so emotional. First of all, he was talking about this blonde guy who was a brother for 6 years. And yeah, he says basically he could not get used to the virtue of obedience. He couldn't get used to it. All right, leave then. And he talks about a situation where they accuse the brothers, the sons, of breaking up a family, and he talks about that in a general way. He talks about this was he came with the wife and the husband, and it was actually, I guess, there was some kind of abuse or not a good family situation, and actually it was the diocese who annulled their marriage. That there was no real marriage. So he said, I didn't annul it. It's not me, Father Michael Mary, who annulled their marriage. It was the diocese. They went through the process. Of course, they accused him of breaking up the family when there was no real marriage in the first place. And he addresses the question of one of the priests who left, and I think he was not part of who was canonically, turns out he was not part of the order. But in any case, he was actually sent back to the Orkney Islands because his sermons, he said, I didn't like the way he speaks, not because he taught error. How's the voice now? Is it better? Is the voice better now? Anyways, so he didn't, he returned him back because his sermons were just a bit too strong. Not bad, not erroneous, but just way too strong. So, anyways, and he answers the questions about exorcisms and all the permissions they got. He almost cries in one portion. Talks about a former person who used to come to the chapel, writing him, thanking him, and he almost got very emotional. So, anyways, I encourage you to watch the whole video. I'm just gonna end it here with the next one, which is the promo, and listen to the music, how it is done. Like, oh, it's like it's like horror.
Oh, so this is it up on the right?
This is it, just here, yeah.
How do you feel being back here?
Years ago, it was a place that I actually felt a bit scared going past.
Why have you decided to talk to us about this?
Oh, the concern. Oh, the concern and love. The concern and love. Anyways, you can watch it. I watched the whole thing. And it's basically there's three things they go over. One is this poor guy who couldn't learn how to be obedient as a brother. He's not a congregant. He's a brother in a religious order. And he could not get used to being the virtue of obedience. Number two, there was this woman. He said, oh, the monks were trying to get my kids to join their order. Well, that's promoting priesthood. I don't know what her exact story is, but and then actually she talks. They tell her, "Oh, what do you think of Father Michael Mary's sermon?" Oh, you should. This is how could he? This is not a sermon. Well, you listen to it and you judge. A perfect defense and exoneration of his position. And the other one was about the exorcisms, which is, oh, how dare they tie certain people up for exorcism? And Father Michael Mary explains from the Book of Exorcism that sometimes it is, if there's danger for the person who might harm himself through the exorcism, that you restrain him, have him restrained, so the guy doesn't like pull his eye, blinds himself or cuts himself, or even attacks the priest. So there's times where you actually have to restrain. And the other complaint was, oh, some people being exorcised said, stop it, we don't want to be exorcised anymore. And then Father Michael Mary says, well, yeah, the demon doesn't want to leave the body anyways. So do you listen to the devil when you're being when you're trying to cast out the devil? You see it in Jesus. I mean, the demons himself, get away from us, son of man, or get away of us, son of man, son of God. Leave us alone, get away. So that's what they said in the scriptures. So, so Jesus should have said, oh, that's your free will that I give you. Okay, bye-bye, I'm gone. No, this is a rite of exorcism. So, and he said, oh, they put the cross in their face. Oh, Yes, because the devils hate the cross of Christ. So basically, that is his his little. And of course, there's one more thing which we should, of course, all decry. Oh, where is it? How do we get to it? Where is it? Oh. So you can watch the whole thing if you want to. But anyways, and about exorcisms, there was 12 exorcisms overall in this diocese or something, or in New Zealand. So of course, the most horrible thing. Here we go. We're going to get to it. Let's see here.
Saying, read between the lines, listen to what he's not saying.
Oh, this is the lady. She's like, oh, you okay? Don't listen to what Father Michael Mary's words are. What did he actually say in the sermon? No, read between the lines. Be psychic and read his mind about the real meaning. When you read his mind, you will know the truth because you're reading his mind. Don't listen to what the words are. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Just read his mind. But let's get to the actual. Again, one of the most evil things Father Michael Mary and the Sons of the Holy Redeemer did. Here it is.
Introducing the Cordner Seat Cushion, a
advertising.
revolutionary cushion that will transform your sitting experience. People.
February 2022, the Parliament anti-mandate protest.
If we don't get this right, then this whole country is going to be subjected to a tyranny that will not finish.
Father Michael Mary joined protesters, stoking fear about vaccine mandates.
This is a serious moral issue for New Zealand because the whole country is going to go down.
At the protest, Michael Mary spoke of the importance of freedoms, but the overriding concern from the 17 people we've spoken to is that freedom of thought is exactly what he didn't allow. There have been accusations.
All right. So now you know, again, one of the most evil things that Father Michael Mary did was he stand for bodily integrity and freedom of not taking the, what do you call it, the poison. Yeah, so of course he's a conspiracy theorist, evil, doesn't trust the government. So of course that was just the icing on the cake of his other things. So of course he and his whole order needs to be disbanded for the good of humanity. Anyway, so this is the story of what's happening with the attempted destruction of the Transalpine Redemptorists, or the Sons of the Most Holy Redeemer. So what do? We do the exact opposite of what they want us to do. We buy their Papa Stronce calendar and donate some money to them. And you say, you know what? You tell us not to do it, we'll do it because we know you people are just, what's the word? What's the accurate word? Evil. That's it. So that's it. That's all. Hopefully you liked it. Oh, there's a comment here. Okay, here, that's what I was mentioning before. I attended the SSPX Mass Center that is run by the Transalpine Redemptorists. That was back in the day, who were unceremoniously booted off Papa Stronce when Michael Mary's group cozied up to Rome. So as I said, one of the original videos, when there was a regularization, there was some of the, I don't know how many, a smaller, much smaller group of the monks who said, no, we want to stay with, we don't want to, be regularized with Rome. So we want to maintain SSPX connections. So they left. So I don't know what's the, I guess it's very tough because I remember in the video, they had the video of them by themselves. It's very tough for a much smaller group to survive on these tough islands. So I guess at the end, they either were pushed off or they just left. Because, anyways, yeah. So it was around 2 to 3 brothers. Yeah, it was very, very small. So 2 to 3 men by themselves in a stormy, cold, windy, tough island to live by themselves would be very, very tough. But we can see them that. So somebody says the SSPX has been cozying up to Rome since 2012. As I said, it was Cardinal Mueller who actually prevented the final signing of the regularization with Pope Benedict, because Bishop Philae, I don't know if you remember, he was going to Rome all the time. It was like basically done. And that's where the, what do you call it, the resistance or whatever, SSPX resistance with Father Pfeiffer, who made himself bishop now, came up, and Bishop Williamson left, and then they ordained another Bishop Favre or whatever his name is, I forgot. Anyways, it was just, SSPX is going to abandon the faith. Actually, kind of, but anyways, it was Cardinal Mueller who, every time they were about to sign, he would come and say no to Philae, basically block the regularization, because he wanted them to declare that they accepted Vatican II. Now Mueller is moving far towards the traditional position than previously. Anyways, and the funny thing is, we're hearing all these resistance, as you might say, the facing Pope Francis and Rome, and standing up for tradition. Who are you? We are hearing from Vigano, Strickland, Mueller, Schneider, Burke, Braun Mueller, a bunch of other priests. It used to be back in the day, 10 years ago or more, it was the Philae, Tissier, de Malaret, Gallerata. These were the voices of course, before them would be Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre. They were the ones who are always sounding the alarm, or the defending the faith, the truth. I'm not saying they are not. Of course, they are defending and keeping the faith. But they were the ones who were the loudest. Now, I don't know, are they even criticizing Pope Francis at all? I'm not sure. But it was the loudest are these various bishops and priests, and the former Cardinal Seurat now is actually joining the fray, who is very, quiet. He's a very quiet man. But yeah, that's it. So as I said, time to support the monks, give them money, buy their calendar, stand with them, and I hope they do not succumb to any push of an apostolic visitor to disband them. That's how go away. If they force them to disband, it's like, go away, and just do what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong. And for those who complain about penances, you should read the whole truth about Fatima, the 3 volumes of Father Frère Michel de la Sainte Trinité from years ago, and you see the penances which little Jacinta did, that actually Mary, the Mother of God, actually had to tone Jacinta down. Don't do that many penances. You're small, you're not in good health, do not do them. So yes, the penances, physical penances, fasting, walk, doing a lot of even things for me. I think, that's kind of out of the realm of what I would do. But Jacinta did them. But actually Mary, the Mother of God, said, you have to stop this. Don't do this anymore. Tone it down. Yeah, you want to do penance for sinners, but tone it down. So maybe that's a valid minor criticism, but that's not a reason to disband and destroy an order which is thoroughly Catholic, actually more Catholic than Rome. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time.